Hi, I'm Angie and I'm with Core Star Pilates, and I don't know about you, but I've been seated for most of this day, so I want to get up and do a little mobility work here. So I invite you to join me. We're going to start with the head, neck, move on to the rib cage, then to the hips, and then we're going to do a nice, beautiful full body movement. So you can do the first two parts sitting down if you would prefer. Otherwise, I invite you to join me and stand up so you can get up. Because, if you've been seated all day, maybe this is a good time to do that. Now, have the chair nearby. So whether it's a desk chair or a wall or your desk, feel free to hold something. We are going to use this a bit later on because we are going to be standing on one foot. So ideally something that's not going to roll away from you. So if you've got a rolling desk chair, maybe that's not the best choice. But for the first two pieces, you don't need, so I'm going to move it completely out of the way so I don't hit it. Okay, so what we're going to start with is a little head neck. So before we go anywhere, I want you to think about building blocks. So if your body was a series of building blocks, I want you to try and keep most of them stacked for all of this, okay? So what we're going to start with is keep the knees unlocked, slight connection to the core, because, Pilates. And then we're just going to nod the head down, so chin towards chest, and then lift up, either looking straight out, or you can look up towards your ceiling. What feels best for you? Nod your chin down. And look it up. We're going to go nice and slow with this. If you want to pair it with the breath, feel free. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. And then come back to center. Now you're going to turn and look over your right shoulder. Come back to center. Then turn and look over your left shoulder. Check in, make sure you didn't lock your knees out while doing this. Look over your right shoulder. Back to center. Look over your left shoulder. One more time each side. Right shoulder. Back to center, look over your left shoulder, and come back to center. Now, think about taking your right ear towards your right shoulder. The body tends to want to fall, so again, think about those wall building blocks. Come back to center, left ear towards left shoulder. Back to center. Do that again, right ear towards right shoulder. Center, left ear towards left shoulder. One more time each side, and we're going to go through and do that one more time all the way through. And then come back to center. Now start back over again. So head nod. So nod the head down, lift it up, maybe look up to the ceiling, maybe slightly up, nod the head down, or maybe just keep your eyes on the horizon. Come back to center one more time, nod the head down, center, maybe up, center. All right, now we're going to turn. So you're going to look over your right shoulder, come back to center, look over your left shoulder, back to center. Do that again. Right shoulder, center, left shoulder, center. Last time, right shoulder, center, left shoulder. And now we're going to do those side bends. So right ear towards the right shoulder, keeping the ribs over the hips. Come back to center, left ear towards left shoulder, back to center. Do that again. Right ear towards right shoulder, center, left ear towards left shoulder. This time, right ear towards right shoulder, and we're going to stay here. So what you do is take that left arm out, and you're going to find somewhere, you're going to get a nice stretch from your left ear all the way out to your shoulder. And your angle may be different than mine, and that's okay. Keep those ribs over the hips. I notice when I do this, I always want to start doing a side bend in my body. So to keep that stretch here, keep the ribs over the hips. So right ear going towards right shoulder, left arm reaching out, reach to the fingertips. Kind of reach that left ear away from the left shoulder, and you can stay here, or you can add a small twist at the top of your neck. So it's kind of like what we were doing when we were turning our head towards the right shoulder and left shoulder, but at an angle, right? So I'm still kind of keeping my head 90 degrees to my neck, but because my neck is at an angle, it looks like a little different. And let's do that one more time. And then you're going to come back to neutral with the head. The neck still stays at this angle, so right ear still towards right shoulder. Release your left arm down, and now you're going to roll your head over towards left shoulder. So take this as slow as you want to go. If there's any spots that feel particularly crunchy or like they want to just stay there and breathe, feel free to stop and maybe take a few breaths there, thinking about lengthening the back of the neck as you're breathing. Take your time with it. There is no race to the finish line on this one. So if you're not back all over to your left shoulder at this point, that's fine. Just pause the video until you get there. Or rewind it, it's okay. So once your left ear is over your left shoulder and your ribs are still stacked over your hips, you're gonna take that right arm out and find that angle on this side. And this side, it might be a slightly different angle. I feel like my arm wants to be a little bit higher on this side. Still reach through those right fingertips, reaching the right ear away from your right shoulder. And then if you want, you can add that turning of the head, just like if you're turning your head in a no pattern. Shaking the head, but really slow. And then come back to center, release your arm, bring your head back to neutral, and shake it out. All right, so that's head and neck. So hopefully you're feeling a little bit more looseness in your neck and head. Okay, so now we're gonna think about spinals, mostly rib cage-ish. So we're going to stand feet underneath sits bones if you're standing. If you're seated, you can stay seated for this too. Just think about weight sort of even, sit bone to sit bone. Definitely weight even foot to foot here. Hands just kind of clasp them, stack everything up, and then from the waistline, we're going to twist. We're going to go a little bit faster with these twists than we did with the head. So pick a point over each shoulder and look at it each time. And we'll do that one more time each side. And then let's bring the hands kind of to shoulders here and then just do a simple side bend. You could keep the hands here, that's fine. You could have the hands on your waist. What feels good here? But think about ribs toward hip, ribs towards hip. Like so, we'll do that one more time each side. And then from here, I want you to take your arms wide. I want you to take your heart, lift it up to the sky, maybe looking up towards the ceiling. And then you're gonna round forward, wrap your arms around yourself, give yourself a nice big hug. Then open your arms up, reaching that heart up. And this time when you hug other arm on top, we're gonna do that one more time with each arm going on top. So lift the heart up, and then give yourself a hug. Lift the heart up, I like an inhale. Exhale to hug. We're gonna do that one more time. So this time you can stay with the hands here, or maybe as you rotate, reach the opposite arm across. So as I rotate right, I'm reaching my left arm across, and then my right arm across as I rotate left. So maybe a slightly wider stance. Do that one more time each side. And I will do that same kind of idea, but with reaching the arms up as you do a side bend. And reach, and reach. If it doesn't feel good to reach your arms, stay with where you had them before. And reach, and reach one more time each side until you're even. There we go. And now we're back to those hugs. Reach those arms out, lift the heart up, get a nice big open, and then round forward, give yourself a hug. Open up the heart, kind of bring the shoulder blades towards each other, and then give yourself a hug. Other arm on top. Two more times. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Make sure you're alternating which arm goes on top. Last time, give yourself a hug. Okay, so hopefully now your ribs are feeling a little bit more open. All right, so now this you are going to be standing for. I like having a chair for this because you are going to be standing on one leg. So chair is great as long as it's not a moving chair. You can always use a wall, your desk, just a piece of furniture or something that's not going to slide away. We're not going to put a lot of weight in there, but it is going to help with balance. You can also challenge your balance and do this with your hands on your hips or your arms out wide. So what we're going to start with is you're going to put your weight onto the leg closest to your immovable object, and your outer leg, we're just going to go forward and back. So you can do this with a straight leg. You could do this with a bent leg. So think about the hip a little bit more than the knee. And let's do that one more time, forward and back. Now bring it in line with the other leg. So you're going to take it out to the side as high as it wants to go, and then sweep the leg in front, take it out to the side, then sweep it back. So it's not going to go too far past your standing leg, and that's okay. It's only as high as it feels okay. So if you're going here, that's fine too. What feels good for your hip. And back, we'll do that one more time, forward and back. All right, now we're going to do some circles. So same kind of idea, but maybe a little bit wider of an arc. So straight leg or bent knee. What feels best for you? Bent needs to be a little bit shorter level, so it's going to be a little bit easier Straight legs can be a little bit harder to lift up, so bent knee might be the preferred to get a little bit more mobility in the hip joint. Just do that one more time forward, one more time back, and now shake it a little bit, and we're gonna do that again. So forward and back, forward and back. Who knew this was gonna be a little bit of work, right? One more time. There you go, out and in front, out and in back. High as it feels okay. I know that standing leg started to talk to you. We're gonna get to it in a moment. One more time forward, one more time back. Here's your circles. So forward and back, forward and back. As wide as it feels okay. And forward last time, and back. Shake it out. Either turn around or move the chair over. Make sure I got plenty of room here. Okay, so other side, nice and tall. Keep your standing knee unlocked. Hand on your chair or challenge your balance. Forward and back. Here we go. Forward and back. So a little bit of connection to the core, but it is about range of motion in the hip. So if the pelvis moves, it's okay. One more time. Forward and back. Out and in front. Out and back. Out in front. Out and back. Don't forget to breathe. One more time. Front and back. And now maybe bent knee. We're gonna circle it around. Circle the leg around. Remember, it could be a straight leg, but like I said, heavier lever, might not be able to raise that leg up nearly as high. More about mobility. One more time. Then about strength. All right, forward and back again. Just let it swing a little bit. Like I said, a light connection to the core. One more time. There we go, out and front, out and back, front, back, front, back. One more time, front and back. Maybe bend that knee, circle it around. Forward and back, forward and back. One more time, forward and back. All right, I'm gonna get the chair completely out of the way because this next one is definitely a more full body. Actually, let me show you the seated version first. So you can do this seated, especially if vertigo might be a problem today. So if you're gonna do seated, hands on thighs, I want you to hinge forward a little bit and you're gonna think about a seated cat-cow. So you're gonna round your spine into cat, and you're gonna lengthen if it feels okay, open to cow. So rounding to cat, looking down at the floor, neutral if it feels okay, open up to cow, tilting the pelvis up a little bit, opening the heart, bringing your gaze up. So that's a seated version. Otherwise, we are going to do a standing version. And again, hinge as much as it feels okay. So I'm gonna stand towards the side here, maybe a little bit wider stance, and you're gonna bend the knees, squat down, bring your belly towards your thighs, round over, wrap the arms around so you're holding onto opposite leg. It could be at thighs, it could be down on shins, what feels good here. And then we're gonna come up, reach those arms out, spread out, lift the heart up, open up the hips, press the heels in, get a nice big stretch, and we'll do that again. Maybe it's an exhale to come down, and then an inhale to come up, exhale, come down, alternate which arm goes on top, inhale, come up. Let's do that 2 more times, inhale, up, one more time, round down, inhale, up, and reach, nice big stretch. And bring your arms down, and we're done. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed this little mobility. You can do standing, seated for most of it, and come back to as much as you need to. You can do that in pieces of whatever part of your body is talking to you. So I hope you get a good use out of this video, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks so much.